Welcome to r/Tales from Tech Support, where we get to have a little chuckle at the technologically disadvantaged. Like me. I'm Uncle Reddit, and have I got a story for you. Well, happy Wednesday, guys. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to plug my other channel, one of my other channels. So if you're into camping at all, anything to do with camping, mostly we're working on a vintage camper, camping in a vintage camper, campground camping right now, but we'll be doing some boondocking later once I get some more work done on it. If you feel like checking that out, I'll put a link to that in the description below. But if you're into camping at all, hey, check it out, subscribe, enjoy. Let's get to the stories. With users like this, I'll be staying at this company for a long time. User called in last week about an issue with Outlook. So per usual, I offered to remote in to see if there were errors, maybe enable logging to see what's up. When I connected, I noticed her connection was very slow. We did a speed test. She was getting 4 megabits per second down. Shudder. I suggested she swap her computer to 5 gigahertz bandwidth and let her other devices stay on the 2.4 band. She messages me today. G'day to you. Just wanted to say thank you for saying something about my connection speed last week. Made some tweaks to our Linksys Wi-Fi extenders, and this is what my work laptop looks like today. 128 megabits down, 6 megabits up. And for all this time, I thought that 5 megabits per second speed was just the way it was. Oof. People like this is one of the big things that separates this employer from places I've been before. People here show appreciation for support staff. Well, that's pretty cool that they actually show appreciation and send you that little message afterwards to say that it helped or didn't help. I mean, feedback's always good one way or the other, but it's a lot easier to take that feedback when they're not being jerks. Power matters. This just happened a solid 30 minutes ago and 2 cups of coffee ago. Backstory. Army. Deployed. IT. Not awake yet. Don't judge. So there I was, walking to work one cold morning. It seems as though in Kuwait, 15 Celsius, 59 degrees Fahrenheit, is actually freezing cold. I think to myself that I should probably start wearing winter clothing. I go to Kuwait at the beginning of their summer, so I'm used to their 120 plus degree weather, rather than the 60s we're at now. My important task of the day? Install a new UPS for our switch stack since our last one died. Our stack has been hard shutting off every night when they fill the generators. Once or twice they failed to come back up on their own, so it's time. Due to circumstances prior to coming out here, my unit cannot buy our own equipment. This leaves us at the mercy of higher echelons to provide. Been roughly a solid 6 months since our last UPS died, but finally, through the power of complaining enough, we got a brand new UPS. I get to the office and ensure there's no one working before I cut the power to the stack. Once off, I unpack the UPS and hook it up and make it look all purty before connecting it to the wall. I plug it into the wall. Nothing. Silent panic. I look back at the UPS and realize the self-test button is also the power button. No panic. I press the button, self-test happens with a beep, followed by a green light. Nothing. Slight panic. I grab the instructions and realize it says to hold the power button for 3 seconds to power on. No panic. I press the button in for 3 seconds, self-test, green light, beep, nothing. Panic. I look at the box and immediately see 120 volt 60 Hz in the product name. Feel kinda dumb. Everything on base is 220 volt 120 Hz. I don't know why we would even have a UPS here that won't work, but that makes sense as to why we got it then. I unplug everything from the UPS and remove it, and plug directly back into the wall. Nothing. Real panic. I blew the breaker. Oops. Flipped the breaker switch and it powered up just fine. I got scared for a moment that when I blew the UPS, I blew the stack as well, when it didn't turn back on when plugged into the wall. It's too early for this shenanigans. About to drink my 3rd cup of coffee. Side note, camel milk doesn't taste half bad. Goes good with coffee. The more you know. Well, I've never had camel milk, but I heard that it's not super bad. Either mixed with something, baked into something, or chilled a lot. I know people that drink it warm, but I don't know. I'm not much of a warm milk guy no matter what. Hardware swap. So I'm doing a hardware swap this morning. Nothing out of the ordinary, swapping a user from desktop to laptop, since most of my users are remote/hybrid, and it's easier to travel with a laptop. I prefer for users to bring their old equipment in if possible, especially if they're a regular caller. So user arrives and has the old equipment in a Walmart bag. No big deal, makes it easier to carry, I guess. I walk the user through how to set up and connect to the docking station so they can use external monitors. She asks how a mouse and keyboard will work, so I point out the USB slots for her. She seems to understand and thanks me for the new setup. After she leaves, I start taking things out of the bag and separating for end-of-lease return or recycling. There's a keyboard with all the letters rubbed off, the PC and power supply, and lastly the mouse. But this mouse was special. Why was it special, you ask? Because it was wet. And now so is my hand. I don't know what was on it or how it got wet, but needless, that put a damper on my day. Oh my god, I can't imagine reaching your hand into a bag full of tech and coming up with a soggy, slimy hand. Ugh, this is why they make bleach and hand sanitizer, boys and girls. All the printers are down. This happened earlier this morning. I'm sysadmin at a small-ish company, about 120 users. Anywho, user comes up to me and says that all the printers are down. Based on my incredulous look, she expands and says she sent a job to 3 different printers, and all 3 aren't printing, and that there are some errors displayed on all 3. I walk to the first one, a large color printer, displaying a jam. Open the right panels, pull the stuck paper out, cancel the print job, and then do a test copy. The print job was like half a spreadsheet, clearly not intended for the size paper the printer was feeding. No issue. Walk to the second printer. It's awaiting input because it's trying to feed from the bypass tray, manual paper feed. Tap one of the other paper trays to force the printer to print on letter size. It comes out and it's a half a spreadsheet sent to the printer by our user. Walk to the third printer. Same story as the second. Go back to the user's desk, explain it was her print job that stopped up the 3 printers, and asked her what she's trying to do. Basically, she was trying to print a spreadsheet for her boss, but had no idea how to tinker with the print dialog in Excel to make it fit on a sheet of letter paper. Rather than come to me with that question, though, she went straight to the printer is broken. I used to run construction job sites. We had a guy, he would plug in, we used a generator on a lot of our jobs. And if the generator wasn't running, no saw, no drill, no nothing. And, we'd get all set up and he'd grab the saw to try cutting something, not even thinking about how quiet it was out in the middle of the woods, and tell me that the saw's broken. Then he'd tell me that the generator was broken. Without even thinking, he had to start it up. Same guy came in one morning. He got there late. His girlfriend was dropping him off, and I asked him why he was late. Oh, my car broke. Well, what do you mean your car broke? Well, I think it's out of gas. Oh. You need to come here immediately. I have a very important meeting to join. So, early Tuesday morning, I'm sitting with a few workmates who are in a remote in our daily stand-up before the actual stand-up. Suddenly I get bombarded with Teams messages by a user urging me to come upstairs to check on her computer because it was acting up again. I told her I'll be there in 15 minutes after my stand-up, but that will simply not do. She has a very important meeting to attend. I just sigh, excuse myself from my colleagues, drink the remainder of my coffee, and head up. She's already standing at the doorway of her office, gesturing me to hurry up. Her. None of the programs respond. Everything's acting weird. Nothing works. Me. Have you tried restarting the laptop? Her. No, I can't do that. It won't let me. I then tried to restart the computer, and indeed it was acting weird. Opening the start menu only immediately opened the search query, and then showed a constant space being input. At this point, I look down and see her headset is resting on top of the spacebar of the external keyboard, which I remove. Me. Hey, look, your headset was resting against the spacebar. A look of mild panic settles in on her face, and she angrily explains that this cannot be the case, as she just set them there before I came over. I asked her to describe one of the issues she was having. Her. When I opened Outlook, it kept scrolling through the mails on its own. I asked her to open Outlook, and then I held down the spacebar, and to nobody's surprise, the error she reported replicated. Her. Huh, that's weird. It does the same now. Trying her hardest to look surprised. Me. Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, whatever caused it's gone now. If you got any other problems, let me know. As I left, she was opening Teams to join her extremely important meeting. It was her daily stand-up. Not only acting like her tasks are more important than everybody else's, but then doing that little hurry up thing Oh no. Try that with me. Not only will I stop moving, I might even just turn around and go the other direction. I'm nobody's dog. You're not going to do that to me. And it's amazing how many people just can't accept that they goofed up. It was an honest mistake. The headset was resting against the space bar. It happens. Okay, just accept it. Oh, crap. I guess I got to watch that from now on. And then move on with life. Nope. Got to blame somebody else or something else. What is numlock? This is from a few weeks ago. I was on a call with one of our remote workers who is very experienced in life. Read old. She calls saying she can't get into her Outlook. We try a remote control session, which usually takes her 20 minutes to get the log me in session to set up on her end. At one point, her computer freezes, so I suggest that she restart it to see if that helps. This conversation ensues. User: my password's not working. Me: how do you mean? User: it says it's wrong, but I know it's not. Me: User: let me try again. User: yeah, still not working. Me: is your caps lock on? User: no. Me: okay, do you have numbers in your password by chance? User: yes. Me: okay, is your numlock on? User: no. Me: gotcha. Make sure that's on and then try again. User: okay. Me: after a couple more failed attempts, did you turn on your numlock? User: no. Me: okay, turn that on and then try. User: after a couple more attempts, I'm in. I don't know why it was doing that. My computer hates me. Me: yeah, tech can be weird. Why don't people take suggestions? And if they don't know what they're looking at, why don't they ask? See, I'm not really sure what that is. What do you mean? Oh, at the top corner of your number pad, there's the thing called numlock. Turn that on so that actually functions. People got to make things so complicated. It's not always on and off again. It's, did you pull the lever? I always imagine myself going, pull the lever, Kronk, over the phone, but that would be unprofessional. Side note, hope I ain't breaking the anonymity rule. Just pretend you can't see my username. Anyway, allow me to introduce myself to the sub. I am a typewriter repair and service technician by trade. You may be wondering to yourself, who needs tech support for typewriters? Excuse me while I take a break for a hearty laugh. Apparently, a lot of people do. So allow me to rifle through my Rolodex of amazing stories and unplug tech support and bring you to a young man's perspective of a dying and sometimes annoying industry. If I don't get kicked out of here, I have more. Anyway, allow me to paint a picture of a generic portable typewriter. It comes in a case with a handle for portability. However, in order to protect it inside the case, most machines come equipped with a small lever to keep it all locked up. Cue many calls of typewriters not working, which I normally handle with poise and patience, if I do say so myself. However, there will invariably be this old fart who knows more about typewriters than some 20-year-old city boy because they've been around the block a few times and grew up with them. I've since retired the tirade of, I've seen machines you didn't even know existed, etc., because it's lame and frankly unprofessional. Instead, I politely ask the age-old question, have you tried turning it off and on again? Which in typewriter language is said as follows, have you unlatched the carriage lock? Oh yes, I have. I know how to use my typewriter. Every time I press a key, nothing happens. Seller said it was working. Blah, blah, blah. Either they bring it into me and I smugly pull a lever and type away, or I circle it in a photo they sent me. It's really thankless work. Sometimes, yes, it is genuinely broken, hence why everything must be approached with neutrality. But it really is something to see someone who thinks they're all-knowing be fooled by a lever. The levers also apply to paper release and the age-old mimeograph settings. A story for another time. And don't get me started on DIN numbers. God help me. Oh my gosh. Typewriters. I haven't even thought about typewriters for years. I know some companies kept them on because they had to manually take a pre-printed document with carbon sheets, multiple copies, and type things in, fill in the blanks with names, prices, things like that. But I don't think I've seen anybody even do that for years. Do any of you guys use a typewriter still? Let me know down in the comments below. If you get a second, click on one of these videos. I think you'll enjoy them. See ya!